Hey guys, today I want to talk about the Primordial Stone Gems that have been data mined from the patch 10.0.7 PTR. And I laugh a little bit because a lot of people are up in arms and screaming right now because of how similar these look to the Domination Shards in Shadowlands, as that was something that was fairly universally hated. I don't know anyone who actually specifically liked them. They were just a very poor example of how borrowed power should work. And yeah, it didn't really go down well with the community, and these look very similar to those. But I'm going to talk about it a little bit, and I'm also going to explain why I don't think this is as big of a deal as some people are making it out to be. So first and foremost, let's just kind of talk about what it is. They're going to have their own primordial socket, where basically only these gems can go in that socket. So that already looks like domination shards, where they had their own domination shard socket. And then also, I'm not going to go through every single one of these, but these are very passive effects that kind of happen in the background. There may be a few interesting ones, but very, very fringe situations. But they just kind of all happen passively, and you're not having to think too much about it. Critically striking an enemy can shock them and two nearby enemies, dealing damage. Dealing damage can set an enemy on fire, dealing damage over time. Taking damage can shield yourself in earth absorbing damage. So just like very minute things that are happening in the background. That, like, the most interesting one that I can even think of would be this exuding steam stone, where receiving heals can exude steam, healing yourself and two nearby allies. There may be some interesting play there where if you heal one person and it triggers, and then it heals two other people and it triggers theirs, and it just kind of cascades across your entire group. That could maybe be interesting, but again, it's one of those, it can happen, so it's not something you'd ever plan for. It might just like look cool more than anything else on your raid frames, as you just do one heal and see it just kind of cascade across everyone else's. But again, that would take a lot of randomness as well. So again, a lot of these are random. This dealing magic damage can fire arcane missiles of each kind of magic you've used in the last 20 seconds as a shaman. I could see that like kind of looking cool. You have like a fire arcane missile and a frost arcane missile and a nature arcane missile. That might be interesting. But for the most part, I can't imagine like a fire mage or a frost mage would ever want to cast something outside of their spell school just for the chance of something like that happening in the next 20 seconds. But maybe this can also proc off of other stones. I don't know. But overall, these are basically very, very passive and happening in the background. And they're just they're basically exactly like shards of domination. But the reason why I said I don't think this might be too big of a deal is because I think that this has nothing to do with raids. I don't think this is going to be something that is going to be seen on raid gear, and that's because this was data mined from the 10.0.7 PTR, and we aren't seeing another raid or anything like that on the in 10.0.7. If we go over here and look at our roadmap, for 10.0.7, we are seeing the return to the Forbidden Reach, the transmog sets, as well as the holiday updates. We're not seeing another raid until the patch 10.1, and I highly doubt we're going to see Primordial Stones, something coming out before a raid, still being seen in the next raid. That'd be really weird. We've seen that only a couple times, and it's not been for like small things like gems or something like that. It's usually for like some sort of like trinket or something that's super powerful that continues to be good in the next raid or something like that. I highly doubt you'd be keeping a piece of gear just for a gem socket going into another raid. And I just highly doubt we're going to see more of that continuing on into another patch, especially with something that they know, and they've seen plenty of feedback to know that it was not a system that was really well liked. So what I think that this is really going to be is whatever this return to Forbidden Reach actually is, this going back to that zone which is off the coast of the Waking Shore, I think this is going to be tied to the gear that you get in the Waking Shore, like on the Forbidden Reach there. I think that this is going to be more in lines with casual content. They will have these primordial sockets on them where you can give yourself just a little bit of a bonus and feel like you're kind of chasing even after something like that for a casual player. Again, I don't think this is going to be something that will be seen in raids. Maybe it might be something that if you're starting late and you're going to the Forbidden Reach to check that out and your gear isn't, great, or maybe you've only gotten it through world quests, maybe these things are just a little bit of a bonus that you can get on top of your world gear that just does a little bit something extra, something unique to that stone. So I don't think it's going to be something that you're going to need to go back and and get, and then somehow then apply it to your tier gear or anything like that. I don't think that'll be the case. I think it's really just to be like an extra added bonus. So that's kind of where I'm thinking. Again, don't freak out yet. We don't even know how these are how these things are going to be acquired. That was just me speculating. I don't actually know. I mean, it could turn out to be that we're going to have to go back and grab all these things as some way to finish clearing Vaulted Incarnates, but I highly doubt it, and I really don't think we'll see it in the next raid because it's coming in 10.0.7. Again, this is also just data mine content, so again, there's no reason to freak out yet. But again, that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. It's just going to be part of the catch-up gear and to just give you something extra for casual content. Again, this expansion has had so much casual-friendly content in it, and I think that this might just be part of that. Again, domination shards and the way that they worked was awful, and there's really no other way to put it. It was just, and part of that is because it was required. But even if it's not required, I don't really see much upside to doing stuff like this. Maybe unless it's with casual content, and that's just about it. I could still see people getting kind of frustrated over not getting the ones they want, so hopefully they'll do something better with the acquisition of it. But if you're raiding and you have raid gear, or if you're pushing Mythic Plus, I would not worry yourself about this too much. I don't think this kind of content is aimed at you, so I wouldn't freak out just yet until we hear more information about that. But that's what I'm thinking right now, and I just don't see it moving into a rating environment based on the fact that this is coming out in that 10.0.7 patch. But that's pretty much it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Where do you think these are going to be? Do you think that it's coming for just the Forbidden Reach, or do you think we're going to see these in raids as well? I would love to know your guys' opinion as well with that. So other than that, that's pretty much it, and I will see you guys in the next video.